Okay, I think it's now time for the Admirals walkthrough of Royal Oak from Barnes Brinkcraft. I believe the name of the mould is called an Aquafiber Diamond 35, I think it is. But on the Barnes Brinkcraft website it actually says that she's 38 foot long. She's got two ensuite bedrooms, one in the rear and one in the bow. Good size and of both the bedrooms and of the ensuite. And let's just get this right off the bat. If I was ever fortunate enough to even possibly think about buying my own boat, this is a type of boat that I would be looking at to purchase. There's things that I really like about her. Well, as you see at the back, you've got very large standing areas at the back here. There's nothing actually under this section here, but your gas locker is over there. She's quite easy to step on, and one of the things I really do like about her is the absolutely massively wide freeboards. I mean, you can easily see I am walking up here with absolutely no issues whatsoever. I do apologise about the state of the boat. She was mopped yesterday, but with the rain we've had today, and it didn't, the sort of dirty, that sort of gravelly, woody stuff at the moorings, it doesn't take long for the boat to get a bit dirty. But yes, she is absolutely wonderful. Handrails all over the place. You've got handrails that run all the way around the bow there, handrails here, and you probably saw as well, we've got handrails and handrails all running pretty much the entire length of the boat. So actually very safe. You can walk up and down quite easily, always holding on to something, and with the wide freeboards you feel very safe actually walking up and down the side of this boat. Very nice. It is quite a bit of a steep step down, but once you're down, you're pretty much, that's it. So what we'll do is we'll step down. We're going to do it from back to front because there's no front door, and you walk in the back door and immediately into the rear cabin. And probably every boat has its own niggles, and this is probably, well, the first niggle, so I'll just get this right out the way. It's nothing major, it is just a niggle. I really do actually like this boat, but the bed is a small double. Yeah, it's took me a couple of nights to get used to it. I found it a bit uncomfortable to begin with, but very soon I was sleeping no problems. I do have an issue though with the near side. You can probably see that. Whoever sleeps on this side of the bed sleeps partly under the freeboard, and your feet go under the back of the boat. She's not very wide, like I say, she's a small double. The mattress is probably a bit thin for me, but once I got used to it, I got a good night's sleep eventually. But the first couple of nights it was a bit odd, and what I also found a bit odd was this fire extinguisher. I know there's not a lot of places you can put a fire extinguisher, and they have to go places, but I found that once again, first few nights, I would clear my feet out of the bulkhead, swing them round and clatter my toes on the fire extinguisher. I did eventually start remembering about that first thing in the morning, but in my drowsy state, a few mornings I did hit my toes off that. But yes, it's not a bad bed, but it is a small double, and if you're particularly tall, you're gonna be a wee bit uncomfortable because, like I say, it's a small double. It's not very long and it's not very wide at all. So yeah, most people not a problem, but if you are tall, large, you know, that sort of thing, you might have a few issues with two of you sleeping in that bed. Not a problem, just a minor niggle, but it's worth pointing out about that. You do have a wee reading light up there above the bed. That's nice, wee handy. And of course you've got internal fluorescent lights, one on that side and you have another one on that side. It's actually quite light in here. You've obviously got a small window there, you've got nice big windows out the back, and obviously you've got the window on the other side. So there is actually a lot of light comes in here during the day, and it's not dark at all. You also get a wee sort of a very deep cupboard in there, very deep cupboard, and of course drawers as well. This one even comes with a hairdryer. You get a wee sort of coat hook and a shaving point, as well as a 240 plug socket here. You've got a light switch here, which one of them puts the fluorescent lights on inside, and one of them puts on a wee external light as well. Here is the door into the ensuite with a mirror. I apologise, but I went and had a shower and freshened up before I've done this, so it's going to be a wee bit wet, but nonetheless. There you go, there's the shower. Okay, actually quite a good size. This is currently sitting up here where I had the shower, but it's usually located just down there on a wee catch. I've just left it up there to dry, you know, and obviously you've got your hot and your cold tap there. You've got a wee button there to flush your toilet, and the wee switch next to it activates your shower pump, so that when you, as you're having a shower, sorry, the water comes up here and you don't need to push a button and hold it. You just pull that out and the pump just runs constantly, just draining the water away from the basin there. Obviously it's one of these toilets with the footrest. I won't go into that, but if you know your toilets, you know what to expect with that. And of course your sink as well. And you've got another wee sort of mirror there, and up there another wee light, internal light with a wee switch that turns on and off. As with most boat sort of shower toilet combination things, it's compact, but actually it's perfectly usable, and there's enough room. I'm 5'10", and I had plenty enough room to stand up there and have a shower. You've also got a wee shower curtain here, which you just unlatch, and it runs on runners and it goes down in front of the sink there. So obviously anything that's in the sink, including your toilet roll, doesn't get wet. Beneath the sink you have also a lovely wee cupboard as well, so you can store all your toiletries and toilet rolls and everything like that in there. Very nice and handy. I like these wee buttons, you know, they're just quite cool. So yes, that is the ensuite, you know. As expected, it's compact but perfectly usable, and I never had any problems with it. And quite a hot shower as well, actually. Very nice. Obviously there's a door here which leads out into the main galley and saloon. You walk out of it and immediately into the galley, which is actually quite spacious. And what I like about this boat particularly is the social nature of it, and how, because it's so open plan, the boat feels a lot larger than it actually is, you know. Here we have the counter worktop and the sink. I'm needing to tip that. I've just been doing some washing. All the way down here with the 4-burner hob, an oven and a grill. Well, oven and grill, I should say. Just there. What I will say about this though is that it doesn't appear to have you know, the electric pilot lights. You know, or if it does, it doesn't seem to be working, I don't know. So I was able to acquire a wee sort of disposable lighter, and I just sort of used that to just light up the gas every time. Obviously the standard sort of gas kettle, you know, to boil your water as well. So I'm not quite sure how that system would work with the grill and the oven. I never used them, but yeah, I don't know if there isn't supposedly supposed to be a wee sort of electric sort of switch. It looks like it should have an electric switch, but I couldn't get it to fire up at all. But it wasn't a problem. The gas works perfectly fine once you lit it with a wee lighter or a match, and you get matches with Barnston Craft. You've got a cupboard here under the sink, quite well stocked, you know. You've got colanders, pots, wee steamer. I quite like that idea, and I actually only noticed that a couple of days ago, that was sitting there. I thought that was actually really rather nice. Never seen a steamer on board. Obviously a wee sort of container there, chopping board, tea, coffee, well, it's actually a teapot, and salt and pepper on that side. And next to it there's the other cupboard where you get all your sort of your Pyrex dishes and everything like that, you know. And there's actually quite a good space in there for if you wanted to put any of your own personal stuff as well for cooking, you know. Up here we've got another drawer, and you've got your sort of all your sort of kitchen utensils, you know, that you need. The scissors in this one are a bit blunt, but I bring my own scissors anyway, so that's not a problem. So yeah, but it's no bad stocked actually. It's quite well stocked. Couple of drawers, very nice. Your obligatory small fridge. It's just the standard sort of fridge that you get on a lot of the boats. It's not very big, it's not very deep, you know. It does you, and you've also got a wee sort of a freezer compartment in there as well. It won't put much in there, but it's there, so you can stick a little something in there for frozen. So yes, that's the fridge. Above it you've got a nice, obviously your microwave, 240 volt inverter on this boat. Obviously I never used a microwave, can't really go wrong with a microwave, but a lot of boatyards do say that if you do use the microwave, please start up the engine while you're using it, because it will sap your batteries very quickly, you know. A nice wee fruit bowl here. Obviously this key here, that's for your water out the back, which is located actually directly out the back by the rear door, which is actually handily located, because that way you're not trying to drag hoses to the other side of the boat. So quite like that location. This here, I wondered what this was, but it's actually for your electric winch. If the clutch slips, what you do is you just put that in the top of it, give it a couple of turns, the clutch catches again, then you can go back into the boat and raise your mud weight. Don't really need it. It did slip once and I was happy to have that, and that sorted the issue straight away. But yeah, so it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Obviously another fire extinguisher. Quite a lot of wee sort of pictures and framed artwork on board this boat, which is very nice. And obviously the carbon monoxide warnings and smoke alarms, and you've even got a wee barometer up there as well. You've got another wee hook, and of course more fluorescent lighting here, here and across the spine, two more. The switches of which are controlled here in the galley. And like I say, it feels very, very open plan and sociable, you know. Anybody who's sort of sitting in here, cooking or cleaning or washing up or whatever, can still easily talk and chat with anybody sitting down, you know, or helming, you know. You're not sort of stuck away down the side of the boat or tucked away in a corner. Very, very, it's got such a feeling of spaciousness, you know. I really, really like that, you know. Over here we have another drawer which contains all your cutlery. Very nice. You've got up here two more plug sockets, one for the microwave, another one for the TV. I'll come back to that momentarily. You've got another drawer here, which you can put whatever you wish into it, and more cupboard space down here, and this contains your mugs, glasses, stemmed wine glasses. I love stemmed wine glasses. I actually had a couple bottles of wine on board this adventure and it just felt so right. There was one day I sat down on the bow of the boat, I think it was down at Loddon. I sat on the bow of the boat, it was a gorgeous day, watching the world go by, drinking some wine, eating some cheese and crackers, and it was fantastic. I felt very Mediterranean indeed, you know. Lots of space there for whatever you wish to put down there, and of course you've got some plates, saucers and bowls, so lovely, well stocked. Up here you have your TV, and I've got to say it's one of the bigger TVs I've ever had on a boat. That's not your standard sort of a 12-inch job. Probably maybe what, a 15-inch I think it is, maybe a wee bit bigger. It's not massive, but it's definitely bigger than the standard ones that you get. Obviously a combi unit with the DVDs just down the side there, and a TV remote control. Yeah. I didn't really bother watching TV as such, but I did watch a couple of DVDs in the evening, and it's not bad at all, you know. Obviously you've got the curtains, they're all sort of jammed up because I had the canopies open earlier, but nice wee sort of blue curtains which match very well with the upholster, you know. Nice wee sort of seat here, obviously Tiberius sort of just watching me. He's wanting to go to the pub. And what have you here is a couple of steps that lead out to the port side if the canopy is open. This is godsend, by the way, you know. I'm actually moored next up to Serenade, from which is the modern equivalent of this design, and they do not have the steps there, and it was so handy, you know, just being able to throw back the canopy, pull up alongside and just slot in and out the side grabbing the ropes. Very good, and obviously you've got a nice wee handheld here. Speaking of the canopies is there. You've got one canopy there and one canopy there, and they are bolted together with little bolts here. They just in there, bolt up, and there. And oh, grab handles. I can't tell you how much I love a grab handle on a canopy. It's such a small, simple thing, you know, but it really makes. I've had a few boats that don't have it, and trying to get the canopy open can be a right pain sometimes. This one, very easy. Just grab the handle and it slides out like that, you know, and it slides all the way back. Shutting again, very easy, and it doesn't require too much effort at all. So yes, very happy about that. I'm really glad I've got some grab handles on that. I'll stay in the saloon at the moment. Obviously coming down here there's TV, and we'll talk about the bed. Now I don't think this converts into another bed. It's just a pure sitting area only. Minor niggle. It didn't interfere with anything, but I think the foam in the base here is getting past its best. You sit down, you know, and you sit down on one half, and the other half just sort of pops up, you know. So yeah, it could probably do with a fresh foam in it. It's not uncomfortable by any means at all. I actually found it rather comfortable. It just could have been done with just a little bit firmer support with fresh foam in it, but yeah. You've also got a nice wee storage area down here, which is very nice, and another storage area here, which is very nice, and you've also got 2 heating vents as well. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention that in the rear cabin underneath the bed there is also another heating vent in the corner by the door. So yes, there is heating in the rear cabin. I don't often have the heating on because it was actually so very lovely on this adventure, but I did put it on maybe late at night or first thing in the morning just to take the chill off the out the boat, and they are very nice and strong as well. I really quite like that. Okay, once again you've got more sort of curtains here and here for the canopy, and the same sort of idea with the canopy as well, just latch and screw in or screw out, and you've obviously got another wee sort of grab handle there. Okay, what I will do is I will stay here. Okay, we'll stay here just now. You've also got a nice wee table that comes with it. I've just moved that there out of the way just to sort of open up this whole sort of living area here. Never used it, but it's very nice to have, and actually it would be quite lovely to sit there at a table, you know, enjoying your dinner. Yeah. You got a nice wee cupboard there, which is more curtains in there for obviously putting curtains on the front of the boat at night. You've got your wee sort of excuse all this, your 240 volt inverter switch just there, and another double plug there which I'm currently using to charge up on my various bits and bobs. The obligatory CD radio unit with auxiliary socket so you can plug in your iPod, which is very handy. And of course, if I move this out the way, in here you've got yet more cupboard space, which has a brush and pan at the back with a bucket, and also a hoover. You've actually got a hoover on this boat. You know, that was like, wow, you know. Maybe not the most powerful hoover, and I wasn't sure about using it and the drain it might have on a battery, so I ran the engine when I used that, just to tidy the place up a wee bit. Maybe not the most powerful one, but it was very nice to have as well. And obviously, once again, yeah, more cupboard space. This time cupboard with lots and lots of coat hangers, so if you need to hang everything up, there you go. It's quite, actually, it's not like 3/4 length, you know. It's quite deep though, you know. So yes, lovely, 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 lovely. And that's that. But before we go in that, let's talk about here. You have another light switch for your internal lights. You've got your heating system here, which is temperature controlled. You know, you just sort of switch it on. Yeah, if you just switch it on, adjust your temperature, or if you want cold air, just like that, and it's all very, very nice indeed. And obviously just below that you've got your 12 volt cigarette lighter socket, which is very handy, you know. The engine, you actually sit on it. This box here is where the engine is located, and in order to get at the engine you just undo that latch and pull the seat all the way back, and it folds all the way down across the floor and the engine is in there. I'm not going to do that because yeah, you don't really need to see the engine, but it's in there, and surprisingly, considering that you're sitting on top of the engine, not actually that loud. I was easily able to have a conversation at normal volumes to the camera, not a problem, while that engine was running. It might sound a bit louder on the microphone depending on the frequency vibrations and all that. You know, microphones pick up strange things, but in real life it's not actually very loud at all. So that is where the engine was located, and this is one thing that I really like about this boat, is because when you come up, you sit up there. There's another wee sort of L-shaped seat so that anybody can sit there while we're going along. The seat itself is actually a two-person seat. You could easily get two people sitting in there. A nice wee grab rail over here as well to hang on to. And this is the helm position. And this one thing I'm really loving about this style of boat is that it's a low air draft boat, like a forward steer cruiser, and yet you actually sit quite high up. I mean, okay, for an exceptionally tall person it might be a wee bit too tall, but you actually sit right high up. You know, your head's, I mean, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? I mean, it's not too tall, you know. I'm about 5'10" sitting down, and I've still got quite a fair wee bit of headroom, you know, and yes, it's very, very comfortable. And obviously, because you sit high up, you know, with the windows, very good views all the way back. Oh, lovely! You know, absolutely loving this design of boat, just with the sheer visibility out these windows. These windows are actually tinted, so from the outside they actually look quite black and you can't actually see in. But obviously from the inside you can see out very easily. And the other good thing about this seating position is that if I just grab that, yank the canopy back and then stand up, look at that, absolutely fantastic. Standing up, and I can look, I have complete 360 vision, no problems whatsoever. Fantastic. I'm loving this design of boat. While I'm up here, one thing I forgot to mention, it does have a solar panel, but it's really only sort of a trickle charge just for your batteries, so it's there. You don't really need to do anything, you don't really notice anything. It does help charge up the batteries on a nice sunny day, but yeah, it's just a wee basic thing, just to keep your battery sort of ticking over and not going completely and utterly flat, you know. But yes, sitting back down though on the helm seat, we'll just slide the canopy back over it, just like that, you know. And another good feature is that if you turn around, you can actually see very easily out the back door as well. You know, there's no obstructions right the way through, looking out. And if you're doing a stern-on mooring like I am at the moment, it's so easy to stern moor this boat because you have complete visibility left, right and centre, you know, and you know exactly what the boat is doing and where it's going. Like I say, such a feeling of openness and space. It feels so much larger than it actually is. But coming back round to the helm position, what we have here, obviously your typical throttle. Down here you have your battery charge indicator. This is very handy, you know. There was a couple of times I moored up and I didn't know what my battery state was like. Looked at this and I was like, alright, okay, it's only like 97%, I'll just run the engine for another half hour or so to 100%, and I knew that at 100%, you know, your batteries last very easily. I don't think I actually dropped below 90% of batteries, you know, of my domestic battery. So yeah, great wee batteries. Right, sorry about that. Guy came looking for mooring fees there. Okay, I was talking about the batteries, and down here, this switch here is actually for your electric winch, mud weight winch. Yes, you have an electric mud weight, and obviously you flick it off and on. If your winch does not work when you push the button, don't do what I do, running around like a idiot in blind panic thinking that the mud weight's down but something's gone wrong and I can't bring it back up again. Just check, see whether you've accidentally knocked that, because that's what happened to me one day. You know, it took me half an hour and then I eventually clocked on that. So yeah, so that's that. You've obviously got isolator switches there for your domestic battery and your engine battery there. You don't really need to ever worry about that. Nice wee steering wheel. Nothing much more to say about that actually. Rev counter. Now I know it looks like it's stuck or something like that. It's just a peculiarity of this particular boat. You switch the engine off and it sticks there, but the minute the engine switches on, it just dives down and works as per normal. And obviously your indicator lights, glow plugs, water, oil, battery, and your ignition key there. You've also got an engine temperature gauge here. This boat seems to run quite cold actually. I suspect it never once got over 80 degrees. Even when I was going full belt across Braden water, it's only read about 78, 79. So I would say that that's actually quite a good wee coolant system on the boat. Below it these are the bow thrusters. Good location actually, very good location, and brilliant bow thrusters. Absolutely fantastic bow thrusters on this boat. You push the button and the whole front of the boat just goes zoop like that, or zoop, absolutely fantastic. I am loving these bow thrusters, by the way, and yeah, it was, you really only need a wee short press to get the bow to just sort of tuck you in to a mooring. Obviously switches here for your domestic pump, your wiper, your bilge pump, don't need to worry about that, your horn, and this is actually your mud weight control. So you actually control your mud weight from up here in the helm position and not outside as other boats do, So even if it's wet, cold and raining outside, you can moor up and just in the middle of the broad just drop the mud weight and no problems. Obviously all your auxiliary sort of trip switches and everything like that, so you don't need to worry about them. But the piece de resistance of this boat is definitely the visibility. Not only do you get a high commanding position even though you're in a low air draft boat, the air draft is only 7 foot on this particular boat, and it's about 12 foot wide I believe, and you get such a commanding position from up here. It is absolutely fantastic. And if you want some more, you throw the canopies open, and then you can stand up or just have this extra space out the side, and it really is a fantastic place to be, absolutely brilliant. I have definitely one of the best helm positions I've ever sat on, and I know I've not sat on much, but yeah, I am loving this helm, and it's another reason why I just love this boat. I mean, you've got a wee sort of a shelf there. I've been sticking my wee tripod there, my wee mug there for my coffee in the morning, and up here obviously I've got another wee sort of shelf where I put all my auxiliary sort of cable stuff and what have you. The speakers for the radio are one there and one there. They're okay. They're not too bad. There's nothing terribly wrong with them. They're just exactly what you'd expect from a boat. I have been using this because it's just a bit richer. It's the bass is a bit deeper. The sound is a bit richer. And so yeah, that's what I've been using for that. For my music, I've just plugged that into my iPod, and it just keeps it all there for me, instead of reaching over there, which is, I mean, once you set your music up and you're playing, not a problem, because you never really go near it again, But when I'm cruising along, I've got my, I like to have my iPod handy, so I can switch it on, switch it off, do a bit to the camera, and it's just there. So that's why I've got that set up. It's not a reflection on the speakers or the head unit, because they are perfectly adequate, and there's nothing wrong with them. Obviously, that's your wee wiper up there as well. So yes, I am loving this boat, and what we'll do is we'll now go down into the bow of the boat, and probably about the, once you get into the boat, this is the only steps you kind of have to deal with, you know, and they're not very deep at all, you know, just a small step down into the boat, into the bow, and you just open that up, one step, down step, and there you go. Excuse all that, okay, that's just me prepared for loading up the car again tomorrow, because obviously the boat is going back first thing tomorrow morning, so I've just got everything all ready, just laid it all out so I can just grab it and shove it into the car. So excuse all that, but it still gives you an indication of what this room is like. Not as much light here as in the stern cabin. You've just got wee sort of small lights, you've got a nice wee big sort of window in the front, but obviously another just a couple sort of portholes and your obligatory sort of escape hatch sort of thing in the roof. So it's a wee bit duller in here, but it's not actually that dull. And once again, even though I'm right in the bow of a tapering, you know, you can probably see okay, I mean it's getting a wee bit sort of tight, but I've still got plenty of room. I'm not needing to stoop, you know, I'm actually standing straight up. So there's not a problem in the head height. Anybody taller than maybe 6 feet or more might have to stoop a little. You know, I'm 5'10", so make your judgment on that. But yeah, easily walk in, walk out, no problems. You've got a wee sort of reading lights with your curtains there. The bed, I mean, it's essentially your typical sort of V-shape bed. I would imagine you would be able to get something over here and turn it into a double, but it looks very comfortable, very reasonable. You've obviously got curtains on the windows, another wee sort of fluorescent light, and some more curtains as well. You've got another wee sort of night light and a coat hook up here, and yet another plug socket and shaver point. Lovely. Nice wee shelf here with a wee sort of a bench chair, so you can sit and relax or put all your stuff in there. And obviously what you've got out here is yet more drawer space, you know. 4 drawers in total, 2 and 2. Not got a wardrobe in here, don't have a space for it, which is probably why you've got a wee sort of wardrobe there. You do have a heating point here. Once again, see, just you got these lovely bits of artwork all over this boat. I'm really loving this boat. Definitely, it just makes it more homely, more welcoming, more friendly, you know, to see things like that. I've not even got on to the fact that it's carpet. I'm loving the carpet. Okay, it was a pain to hoover with that sort of asthmatic hoover the other day there, but I am loving the carpets. You know, it's just so friendly and welcoming, you know, when you walk on board the boat, you know. I love seeing carpets on boats. Obviously shutting the door, wee mirror there, you know, so you can do all your bits, and once again over here you just open up to your other ensuite. Now obviously I've not really used this at all, but it's pretty much like the one in the stern. Same sort of setup. You've got your shower there, which obviously hooks up there. Another wee sort of light, which you would put on just at the side there, like so. Mirror, sink, you know, and obviously your flush and your shower pump thing there. You know, wee sort of a porthole with another wee curtain. Obviously around here you've got once again the shower curtain, and actually in here you have, oh no, not that one. That's obviously fuses. Yeah, that's they're not actually cupboards as such, that's engineering stuff, so don't bother going in there. It's actually the first time I've actually been in here properly since I've had the boat, because I've never really had a reason to come in here, but it actually feels a wee bit bigger than the stern one. This one actually seems, maybe it's just an illusion. Certainly there's more width to it, you know, but yes, lovely, lovely, lovely wee sort of ensuite there. And that is the walkthrough of Royal Oak from Barnes Brincraft. She is honestly, she is such a fantastic design of boat. I have loved it. There's so many sort of neat wee features and thought has gone into the design and the build of it. You know, I mean, even small things. You know, pictures on the walls. You know, an electric mudway switch on the helm. You know, stairs. You know, to walk out the side. You know, just fantastic little wee touches like that. You know, that really sort of make moving about the boat so much easier, you know. And yes, she has been really good. There have been a couple of wee niggles. I pointed out, you know, the bed, you know, and the foam, but to tell you the truth, you know, they are just that, the niggles. Every boat has niggles. Even brand new Serenade next door is going to have niggles, you know. No boat is ever perfect at all, and you tend to find that as long as they are sort of small niggles, you know, it doesn't impact your experience on board the boat at all. I just mention them not to put down Barnes Brincraft or Richardson's or whatever boatyard. I don't mention them, you know, to put down the boat or the boatyard, you know. I mention things that I'm maybe not so happy with about the boat, just purely to let people know what it is that they're paying for, what it is they're getting, you know. So I mean, so that's why I do it, you know. It's not a derogatory remarks, you know. It's just saying, right, okay, this is a great boat. I love this boat, you know. If I could afford something like this is the type of boat I would go for. But if you're paying, say, £1,300, you know, for this boat, which during peak season, I think that's what it cost for a week. Obviously a bit more for my adventure because I was 11 nights. But yeah, I think this boat during the peak season is about £1,300, you know. You're going to want to know everything about the boat, you know. All the wee sort of the good and maybe it's a slightly irritating thing, you know. But that's why I point out the sort of the negatives. Oh, well, it's not negatives, it's more niggles, you know, things that was like, okay, just so that you know what you're getting. But be under no illusion, okay. I paid quite a wee bit more for this boat peak season for 11 nights, and it was probably a wee bit more than I could possibly afford, but it was every penny worth it. Absolutely. This is a fantastic boat, you know. For the most part, comfortable, you know. So easy and such a joy to handle, even by myself, you know. It was never an issue just to easily just slide up to a mooring and just slot it in right up against, even between boats, you know. You could just slot it right the way in to a mooring and just sort of jump out, do your ropes, and yeah, and even when I was doing stern on, you know, slowly, easily, had so much visibility, I could see exactly where the boat was, and it was just literally kissing the key heading every single time, you know, not a nudge, just a gentle. And it was just like so brilliant boat, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely loved my time on her. I think she's a fantastic boat. She is a bit of a bargain in many respects, and I have been loving my time on board her. Indeed, she has been brilliant. So anyway, that is the Admirals walkthrough of Royal Oak. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've been able to get a good indication of what this boat is like, and just how sort of spacious you know, and how much space, you know, the feeling of spaciousness, you know, the feeling of well, space. I don't want to say space again, but just how open plan everything is. You know, I mean, I hired a 35-foot sort of forward steer cruisers, you know, with 1 bedroom, and they still. I mean, there was plenty of space in them, but they still felt a wee bit sort of, well, you just thought, well, it's just a 35-foot boat, you know, there's enough space and that's it, I'm quite happy as Larry. This is, I'm sure it said on the website, 38-foot with 2 bedrooms, and it feels bigger than a 35-foot with 1 bedroom, you know? Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So yes, this is, I'm going to conclude the walkthrough today. I've got somebody coming out here looking for food, which I don't have. So, sorry son, nothing there for you. Hope you have enjoyed this Admirals walkthrough of Royal Oak. If you are thinking about hiring her, I highly recommend it. She is a great boat, she has a great design, and she's well laid out and very thoughtful. And if you were to hire her, I guarantee you, you would have no issues with her whatsoever. And just on one final note, before I go, let me just mention that the canopies, by the way, I didn't mention this earlier, the canopies, draft excluders. They actually have draft excluders on this boat, by the way, for the canopy. So even when it gets a wee bit windy, so like it has been the last couple of days, no wind, you know, no draft or anything like that. You know, it has a fantastically great boat. So yes. Right, that's it. Hope you've enjoyed it. I highly recommend this boat. If you're thinking about the boat, Barnes Brinkcraft is the company to go see. And yeah, I hope you get, if you do hire it, I hope you love it just as much as me, because I have thought this is one of the bestest boats ever. You know, absolutely brilliant. So until then, until later, until well, let me just like wrap up the walkthrough just now. So until later, hope you've enjoyed it. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now. Cheers.